Alrighty, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to... Is this North Dahshur? It's not just Dahshur. What is North Dahshur? Okay, yes. I mean, I say city. We're not really a city just yet. That is what we aim to start this episode. As I said last episode, or at the end of last episode, I went ahead and did a bunch of planning. And I think I have a pretty good idea of what we're gonna do. I've got some screenshots of how we're going to lay things out. And I think, actually, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start down here in this area. Now, I have blueprints for where the walls are gonna go, but we're not going to put them down yet. I'm probably going to have to use gardens to mark, at least in some places, but I don't want to spend too much money on that, at least not to start with. I mean, it's kind of like we could spend money on something like this to mark the area where the walls are gonna go, or we could wait a little bit longer and just spend the money on walls that we are not then going to have to remove. Putting gardens is just a bit of a waste, basically. Now, before we get started, wanted to discuss the placement of this here pyramid. Specifically, this place, right here. I've gone all around the map looking for places to put this, and we don't actually have that many options because it is just so large, and this map, while it is large, there are many obstacles and obstructions to construction. You've got the river here, the floodplains, the rock outcroppings over there, and then these lines of dunes. You can see on the map there are two prominent lines of dunes, and then the rocks up here. Which means that, as far as I can tell, you can really only place this between the two lines of dunes in here. I think there might be... No, there's not even a spot over here. I'm pretty sure this has been done deliberately so that you can only place it in a few areas. Like, look at this. It's just... the dunes are just barely in the way for a lot of this area. So we really only have here, which would conflict with the walls that we want over here. Here, in this area, which would conflict with being able to pass roads through here, which if we want the temple complex up over here, that'll be, you know, in the way. This sort of area, again, it'll conflict with the temple complex, and it'll also conflict with any roads we want next to the temple complex. In particular, we want the temple complex. I'm not sure exactly where. I have it in a screenshot, but somewhere here, and then coming off from that, we want housing, large housing. Which, last episode, I was talking about 4x4 houses. What is something that's 4x4? This. Yeah. I don't know that we can actually do 4x4 houses. I was thinking of the 3x3 houses, but for some reason I said 4x4. It's the 3x3s that we want. This sort of size. Which means the gardens that I laid out last episode were incorrect. But regardless, it means that really the best spot for this pyramid is gonna be here. I think, because we're gonna be having walls along here. It won't get in the way of that. We can have a housing district right out in front of it that's going to be really nice. And then directly next to that will be the temple complex. And I think the festival square is probably going to be here-ish. Because I would like the... Nope. Wait, nope. This to be in line with the temple complex. And that'll have to be down here because it needs access to water. This, the family mansion, is a 4x4, which means that it can't be in line with that and still be symmetrical. Although I suppose you could argue that we could put it and then put like a line of gardens out front of it and it would look fine. Would that look fine? I don't know. Either way, the point is that those two I want in line, well, this one at the very least, I want in line with the temple complex. And that'll have to be down here, which puts the festival square back this way further. And then we'll have another housing district that's going to be really nice over here. So there will be walls up along here. I've figured out some nice ways to make the gatehouses and get the road through them, which should yeah, I think it's gonna look nice and still be quite functional and defensive. So that'll be up here. But to start with, I think we're gonna start down here, because I've laid out the blueprints for the wall coming from there. It'll come down to here and kind of diagonal and then diagonal this way, and I don't remember exactly off the top of my head. I had the screenshot. As a matter of fact, let me just show this screenshot. So we've got the dunes here, and the walls will come down like this and go that way. A little bit of a diagonal here and then across. We could possibly make this more of a sharp point. I don't know that that's really going to be all that useful, because my idea here, you see these three roads, these are separated such that they can have 2x2 houses all along them, and there's a single block between them for beautification, and then 2x2 houses again. So my idea is to start off with, this area will be housing. Got the water up here, and I don't think pushing this, having this straight isn't losing us that much space. I don't think. We could diagonal like that, but I don't know that that's really worth it. I suppose it's not really a change in the amount of money spent on the walls. Never mind, we'll think about that later. Obviously, we're not going to be putting in the walls for a long time, because it's going to be expensive. But this here is my idea for the gatehouse. It'll be a dual gatehouse with the road going through it. It'll just be roadblock there. This is where it actually comes up from here. So you can see the screenshot is kind of like here-ish. So we're gonna get rid of most of these roads, pull the road in here, and then do it that way. And I think this is going to be a good spot to start this, because we'll have housing, and it's going to be in a spot where the housing is going to go long term, and then we've got plenty of room here for other stuff. The roads will be able to go along the walls here, and we'll have room for towers. Another screenshot I've got is showing the beautification. This square here is where that tower is. That's the effect of the tower. So, assuming we have towers on some of these corners, you know, that's going to be a bit of a detriment in this area here, you know. So I'm not sure how far in this way we'll have the houses, which is part of the reason why I don't think changing this to be out further is really going to do much for us. Obviously we can have industry type stuff here, but I don't know that it's going to be that big a deal, because again, this map is very large. We shouldn't run into space issues as long as we put things in good spots to start with. I also am pretty sure that getting to 2x2 houses is not going to... The beautification detriment from the towers, desirability detriment, I don't think it's going to be enough to prevent us from getting the highest level 2x2 houses, as long as we put enough beautification to offset it. And I think we should be able to do that. Hopefully. But I think we're going to start with this here road right here. So let me see. Let me figure out exactly where this is and measure things out a little bit. Real quick. Alright. After a little bit of fiddling, I think that's what we want, right there. Measured out as correctly as I can be. Obviously, looking at a screenshot like this, it's a little bit, difficult, simply because I can't actually, like, do anything with this. So measuring the blocks, I should actually remember in future to try and bring up the desirability overlay, because these are much easier to measure than where there isn't a obvious grid. But I'm pretty sure that is correct to start with. So, what we're going to do, I'm going to take one of these, pop it down there, and I'm going to leave the ends a little bit up in the air for a moment. We're going to focus down here. Get rid of that to just get it out of the way, and here we just kind of go as far in as we can, more or less, leaving a bit of room. We could have water lifts over here, right? But there's not any point, is there? There's nothing to irrigate, so I guess that doesn't matter. We could go all the way up to the water if we need to. That's actually not something we want to do, though. Because having the road like this leaves a little bit of room to put something there, whereas if you put the road all the way up, then there's not that room. Okay. Let's start with the water. I'm thinking... What am I thinking? Yeah, I guess as far out as it can be, it's probably ideal, but do we want to line things up nicely, or is it okay if it's more staggered? Because this is... I suppose staggering it is fine, but I do want to kind of make it try to look a little bit nicer, so maybe we go with like this. And kind of diagonal it. That looks fine. Yeah. And then we do... I'm going to start on the middle... Actually, I'm gonna do that. A little bit of a waste of money, but it's okay. Okay. Now, food is gonna be a little bit of an issue. Do any of these, is that gonna be able to bridge across right there? No. How about this one? No. How about this one? No, not really. Well, that's a tiny bit frustrating, but it's okay. But we're gonna need to get grain going. Yeah, let's use this spot. I don't actually love that. Can we not do that instead? I think I'm gonna do it that way. It occurs to me that temporarily we might actually not roadblock that, roadblock here and there instead, so that we can get workers from the work camp over that way easier. Because we do want these over here, right? Is this... That's still meadow, isn't it? I wish there was an overlay for the meadows specifically. What? What? Oh, shit. Yes, go away. Yeah, I'm gonna try that. See if they can get over there. I'm gonna do this and roadblock there so that they don't do that. And then we're gonna have some farms. Grain. Now, last time at Buchan, we did have irrigation that went to the farms on the floodplain, which did actually seem to help. So I'm gonna... This is not ideal. I might end up redoing this. And by might, I mean I'm almost certainly gonna redo this, because this is not very good. But to start with, it'll be fine. Granary. This is the one thing that irritates me about having the roads 5 tiles apart. This building specifically. It is just big enough that you can't put anything much on the other side. Oh well. I suppose it'll be fine. It's all here. Let's not forget the municipal stuff. Gonna want a little bit of road going that way. Gonna go ahead with an architect post as well. For good measure. Roadblocks all seem sensible, and it looks like we're doing good. The grain is gonna take a while to harvest. I think it's in November that it harvests. So that's gonna be a while, but in the meantime, looks like we're doing good. It is worth mentioning, we have a lot of starting funds, so we can actually do quite a bit. With that in mind, I think we might actually start housing... on the next road over? Maybe not. What are some of the things we could do for income? This is a big one to start with, because it'll be very easy. There aren't any rock outcroppings closer, are there? There is this, it's worth mentioning, but I imagine that just this to the north is going to be more than enough to start with. Now, I did get a screenshot as well of this area up here, where the where the walls are going to go. Let me just put some gardens there. Like that. Now, we could relatively easily just start something up over here, with one hut temporarily supplying them with workers. And I think actually that is what we're gonna do. At least for starters. I've said before, and I'll say it again, I don't particularly like doing this kind of thing with the single temporary hut way out in the boonies that doesn't have access to any facilities. I don't like doing this, but getting water out here is going to be an actual nightmare, and might not even be possible because of how far this is. Because this is going to be the area for the temple complex, and even if we, to be honest, even if we just take a road, that can go straight down to here. 200 demens. It's 4 per block. What is that? 50 tiles. I don't think it's possible for water to make it that far. Now, we would only necessarily need to have a housing down here, which is more possible, but I think what we're gonna do in the long term, temple complex is gonna be here-ish, and we're going to have housing on either side of it that's nice. I think we might be able to have some housing back here. And if we just connect this to it, like not directly, like road comes along something like this, and then housing on this side of the road, and then another road that's not connected to this road that just comes alongside the houses, that should be good. And I think that's what we're going to do, but that's going to require a lot of setup, a lot of measuring to figure out where things are going to go, and all of that is going to be a lot of effort that I don't think is worth going to at the moment, basically. I am, however, realizing that we're going to need to hook up storage yard. This is limestone, right? Yeah. Yeah, we're going to have to hook up the storage yard to the road, to that road. Let me just... That might cause issues because that's right there. He might... we'll take a look at that later. It'll be fine. Some temporary roads so we can set up trade. That's not cheap. We're just going to have to redo this road anyway. Set it up temporarily. This is actually going to be temporary, unlike the last time I said it was going to be temporary. And we're going to use some of our starting money to set up trade with Maydum. But also sell them beer. That'd be easy to do. Oh, this is a water trade route. Oh, are you kidding me? We're right there. Shoot. That does complicate things quite a bit. I am reasonably certain that this will not work. Anybody we can land trade route? They buy grain. You know, that's actually not the worst thing ever. Byblos is water. Abu is water. Salima is land. They don't... This would all require quite a bit of setup. That's not gonna happen. Is that really everybody? Maybe Sarabit Khadim is actually the better choice here then. Because that's a land trade route that we can immediately use. And they buy grain. We could easily enough set up another work camp. And then get the rest of this going. Let's do that. We'll also need a storage yard for it, which is... Again, I say, just kind of silly that the traders can't pull from granaries, but whatever. Is this a good spot? I guess it's kind of a good spot. I suppose it's fine, it's whatever. See if we, like, stagger them a little bit. Maybe this'll fit a little bit better. Oh, that's irritating. That space there, it won't let... Meh. Okay, no, that's not... Think here, here... Oh, it's still the same problem. This doesn't let the road go around. Ah. I don't see any way around that. So we're gonna move these to be a little closer. Because that is a concern with this sort of thing. Oh, that's frustrating. That's super frustrating, and I don't like it. This stretch seems to have been designed specifically to be frustrating. You can't do, like, 2 wide farms. You know, you can't fit in 2 farms in this stretch like this. Like, it just doesn't work. But there's all this extra space that it feels like you should be able to be using. We're gonna need this for barley. How is the 98% fertile? 95. So there's no point digging irrigation just yet. Okay, the architect is going along this side of the road, so he's not spawning over there. So that should be fine. Who is... Okay, Ptah. You know what, that's not actually a bad spot, is it? Because we can't butt things up directly against that alleyway or people will spawn over there, so... Let's go with that. We have food! Oh, we have not enough room for food. Oh no, this is straw.
Can accept these goods.
Right.
That's okay. I can use the rest.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna want to keep that, because then all we need is clay, and we can do bricks, which we can then sell to, is it Abu? Yeah. And that'll be quite good. Well, let's see how much grain we actually get from this. That was not anywhere near a full harvest. Ooh. Yikes. Okay, we might be doing irrigation sooner rather than later. Depending on how good the harvest is, or flood is. What did they do? What do they say about the flood? Should be good. Well, it's not gonna be too good. Okay. Did all of the grain end up in that?
I'm not taking these supplies any further until someone's available to unload them.
That might be part of the problem. We don't quite have enough people. Not yet. How far off are we? Quite a bit. Okay. Well, I suppose... Oh no, I messed it up. Well, I suppose we could go... Can I be bothered to fix that? I suppose I might as well. Oh, that might not actually work, because he might come out over here somewhere. Okay, never mind then. We can't do that. We're gonna have to put it along further. Can't go there. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. It's whatever. It doesn't matter that much. It kind of matters a little bit more. Hold on a second. If it's there, then no. It needs to be there. So that we can do that. This is the sort of area where we're gonna start running into problems because of the towers. Because there should be a tower there and there, I think. I'm still reasonably convinced, though, that we're going to be able to offset any detriment well enough that it won't matter. If we were trying to do 3x3 houses, then it's not going to work next to the towers, but fully leveled 2x2s shouldn't be an issue, I don't think. I mean, it'll be a little bit of an issue, but it'll be a solvable issue. I don't think 3x3s would ever work next to a tower like that. Maybe we just shut this down for the moment. It's kind of... We're not getting anything out of it at the moment. Yeah. That'll reduce our need for people. It does mean that we're gonna need to get over here relatively soon to get a dock going. think we determined that this side is going to be for the docks. Which means we've got to somehow get the limestone from over here all the way over to here. So my question is, if, for example, we wanted to get limestone from here to, let's say, here, we had a storage yard here and a storage yard there. If we put a storage yard in between, and this one we set to get the item in question, and we set the one down here to get the item in question, would it go from here to here, and then from here to here? Like, is it going to go to the closest first, rather than the furthest away? Because if that's the case, then what we can do is have this set to accept, this set to get, this set to get, and hopefully it will go here, and then here. Which, excellent indentation, good, good. Which will increase the speed at which things are moving, because it means that the deliverymen only have to go from here to here and back, rather than from here all the way to here. Which means we could potentially set up a supply chain to get over here. It's not actually that far, because we don't need to use this bridge. We can put a bridge anywhere along here just about. Long term, the road is going to go through this area eventually, in some way. It's not going to be able to go over here because the walls are going to be up there. I think they're going to be basically right up against the dune there. But we're going to have to figure out something, and I think part of that is going to be having... Maybe the storage yard should be here. Further over here. And then the next one can be down here. And then the next one can be down here next to the docks. I'm hoping that'll work. I don't actually know if that'll work. Yikes. Okay, suppose we might as well. I don't think there's any point in not doing this. Really. It's also not very expensive, so... And it should help. Hopefully. Yeah. 20% boost there. That's not bad. I mean, 25% is still not great, but it's a heck of a lot better than 5. Yeah, that should help. Ah. I was just about to ask, hey, why are these houses not getting water? That'll be why. What this means is that in order to get this working properly, I'm gonna have to figure out where all of the temple complex and everything goes. I'm gonna have to measure everything out. Which I do have screenshots for. As you can see here, this is the north wall. Yeah, it looks like that's gonna butt right up against the edge of that dune. These will be the 3x3 houses. And then this will be the other side of the 3x3 houses. That right there is the temple complex. These are just placeholder statues, but probably we will have statues there like that. Make them, you know, face inward or outward or something. Make everything look nice. This here's the pyramid. Yeah, that's what that's gonna be. But I don't particularly feel like measuring all that out at the moment, to be perfectly honest. And also, we're about at the hour mark, so it's about time to stop this episode. Let me see here. Anything else really quick we can do? Not particularly. Thing I can think of. I guess we could get another temple onto the other side there. I guess we go ahead and do another for him. We need to get the festival square up and running pretty quick, don't we? Yeah. I suppose between episodes I will measure things out and get an idea of where things are gonna go, because we do need to do this, and I don't like moving it. It's so expensive. That's not what we want. I suppose theoretically we could just slap down a temple for each. Would that be the worst thing ever? I mean, these are kind of expensive too, but they're not that expensive. 150... I don't know. I will figure it out next episode. 500 residents already. Goodness. But yeah, we'll figure out something with this as well next episode. I think... Yeah, I'm just gonna have to measure things out between episodes and get the roads in, I suppose. So, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end this episode here. Do that, and then we'll see where we stand. Why are you... Oh. I guess they're basically the only ones that have gotten much food. Gonna have to start putting in gardens. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode. So I will say thank you for watching. Take care. And farewell. I don't know that we should start selling grain just yet. Maybe... Well, we do have 1,600...
I see plenty of people out of work as I make my deliveries.
I don't know.